Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us bright and early this Monday morning. We are so happy to have you with us. Today, we're here to talk about getting started with SLSO. And as you can see, I have two maybe unfamiliar faces with you. Some of you may have seen them before at your school site, and now we're meeting with them virtually. But before we get started with them, I just want to go over just a couple of things that we talk about every time. First and foremost, this is being recorded. It is live on YouTube, and the recording will be on YouTube as well at the end. Don't forget, there's a nice little chat box over there. So please take a look at it. Please feel free to ask any questions that you might have there. Some people have told us you may have to be signed in the top right corner in order to chat, but please feel free. There are people in the chat box, a lot of our minions, including our friends from Smart Minions, who have the little wrench beside their name, and that will give them the ability to moderate our chat. So any questions you have, they'll be able to answer it because we're coming to you about 10 to 15 seconds from the future. So because there is a bit of a lag from YouTube, we are not able to easily answer questions. However, at the end, we will try to address some of the questions that may not have been answered or some of the most frequently asked questions. So thank you all for joining us in the chat box as well. As well, don't forget you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down below. Just go ahead and click on our name after we're finished. You can hit the subscribe button to see everything that's coming up. And we'll talk a little bit about our website again at the end of this session so that you can get all of the resources. So with that, I would like to introduce two of my friends from Smart. We have Akea and Laura here who are going to talk to you about getting started with SLSO for your remote learning. Go ahead, take it away, ladies.
Good morning, everybody. Like John said, my name is Laura VanHellemont, and I am a training specialist for Smart. And today we're going to be talking about how to get started with the Smart Learning Suite online, integrated with Google Drive in a classroom. So this works really great in the situation that we are all in currently with supporting distance learning. So as a quick introduction, I also have with us today Akea.
Hi, everyone. As Laura mentioned, my name is Akea Shepard. I'm also a training specialist for Palm Beach. I work with Smart Technology, and I'm really excited to be here to support you all through your transition of distance learning.
On the screen, what you'll see also is our contact information. So after today, if you have any sort of questions, please feel free to reach out to us or any of the wrenches in the chat. You've got Hillary, Ryan, and Caitlin helping support in the live comments section today. And they have the little wrenches next to their name. And also anybody from educational technology can help and support as well. So you've got our email addresses here as well as our Twitter handles if you want to reach out or have any questions. So today we have a couple of objectives that we're planning to cover during our time together. And the first one is that we're going to teach you how to integrate your Google Drive and your Google Classroom with Smart Learning Suite Online, specifically for distance learning. We're going to go through a couple examples together where we're going to learn the quick how-to. So things that you could literally take at 10 a.m. today and import and integrate into your classroom. So the first one is integrating with Google Slides in Smart Learning Suite Online. The next one is an ad-free YouTube video. We've seen a lot of teachers using YouTube, and we have an add-on that makes it great to take away all the advertisements and distractions away from when you're sending those kids YouTube videos. We have an option for an endless digital whiteboard where you can be annotating on the screen and screen sharing within a Google Meet or in a document. And then the last one is our Smart Activities, and that's probably one of our most popular resources when we come and do live training at schools. So going on, the first thing is really how do I connect my Google Drive to Smart Learning Suite Online? Since you are in a G Suite organization, it's actually already added into your drive, both for yourself and for your students. No extra programs required, no extra resources required. It's already actually living in your drive. If you want to follow along while we're on the YouTube live channel, all you have to do is open up a new tab and you're going to navigate over to your Google Drive. When you're in your Google Drive, it's 3 simple clicks: New, More, Smart Learning Suite. That's all you have to do to launch Smart Learning Suite. No extra websites, no extra resources, nothing that has to be installed. And one of the advantages, or actually there's a couple of advantages of using the Google Drive integration with Smart Learning Suite Online. The first one is you can use files that you've already created and resources that you already have. Maybe it's from curriculum, from stuff you've used in the past with your students that you're going to maybe tweak a little bit for distance learning. But everything that already lives in your drive, you can convert into a Smart Learning Suite online file. Docs, sheets, slides, PDFs, PowerPoint presentations, PDFs, all can be converted. The next thing is whatever you're creating, you can actually share. You can share it with your colleagues. So in maybe a collaborative planning session, maybe all the first grade teachers are doing something similar and you can share your resources with them. Or you can actually share the lessons live or self-paced with students. So if you're doing a live lesson on Google Meet, you can share it there. If you're doing a self-paced lesson with students, you can actually share it within your classroom. And we're going to go through those steps a little bit later in this webinar. And then the last thing is that you can easily I already said this one, you can easily add them into Google Classroom. So again, if you want to open a new tab and kind of follow along with us, it's going to be New, More, Smart Learning Suite. And then what you're going to see pop up is you're going to see this dashboard that's on number 3 below. And so you'll see that dashboard, and I like to call it the Choose Your Own Adventure dashboard. And that's kind of what we're going to dive into a little bit more. So this is the dashboard that will pop up when you go to New, More, Smart Learning Suite Online. And you'll see that you have a variety of different options in here. And I do like to reference it as that Choose Your Own Adventure board because you could pick and start with any of these tiles. Today, however, we're going to show you the most like end-to-end lesson method, which is where you're going to actually be starting and importing a resource. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to do exactly what I was just telling you guys, and I'm going to go over to Drive. And in my Drive, I'm going to go to New, More, Smart Learning Suite. Akea, do you want to show them? Is there another way to go into Drive here?
There is another way, and I also want to mention something else. So if you're
Okay.
not familiar with what everyone calls the waffle, you could also call it your app selector. There's a column of dots over here on the right-hand corner when you're in any Google application, so your Gmail, Google website, Drive. And if you scroll down, eventually you'll see an option for Smart Learning Suite. And I just wanted to mention, if you click on Smart Learning Suite and you're following along with us, but you don't see your Choose Your Own Adventure screen right away, maybe you see a sign-in option. Don't worry, you just choose Teacher Sign In and you sign in with your district Google.
Thanks, Kia. All right. Once you get all the way logged in, you're going to get, let's test drive this a lesson experience. Today, we're going to skip it, but this is a great starting point. Like if you are launching Smart Learning Suite Online for the first time, it does give you like a sample lesson and teaches you through the steps that we're kind of going through today live. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to skip for now, and that gets me to my dashboard. So like I was saying, the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be importing a resource today. And I'm going to take my resource from Google Drive. In the Drive, what I'm going to be pulling in is a secondary example. Let me back up. I put it in the webinar folder on box plots. And so we're going to take this box plot lesson. It was originally created and kind of tweaked a little bit from CPALMs. And I'm going to go ahead and select that lesson. And it's going to go through and it's going to kind of chug as the lesson's being set up.
And this is definitely something you want to do beforehand so that you have time to set up the lesson. Laura, could you explain again, why would I take my Google slide and put it into SLSO instead of presenting it in Google Slides?
One of the reasons that I like to put my Google Slide lesson into SLSO is because you can actually add in additional elements into the presentation, which is something we're going to walk through today. But even if you just import your Google Slide deck straight into SLSO and you launch it live with your students, what it allows you to do is to control the pacing of the lesson. So if you were to share the link with the kiddos, like they could be on slide 7 and you're on slide 1, whereas on this one, I'm on slide 1, you're on slide 1, I'm on slide 2, you're on slide 2. And you'll see kind of where that comes into play even a little bit more further as we start adding in some additional interactive elements into the lesson. Awesome. So in this lesson, what I'm going to go ahead and do is you see this little plus sign down at the bottom here, and that's going to launch back up my Choose My Own Adventure board again. And we had talked about how we're going to add a couple different elements that we're going to focus in on today, and one of those is a YouTube video. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a YouTube video, and I'm going to use this to help build upon prior knowledge with the students. So I'm going to go ahead and type in box plots, and I'm going to search for my video. And I'm going to use this one from the organic chemistry tutor, and I'm going to add that in. Now, I don't necessarily want that at the beginning of my lesson, so I can show you how easily I can move and slide my videos into the slot of where I want them. Eventually, when we launch this lesson live and have you guys join into our class, you will see how that YouTube add-on plays in. Another thing I'm going to go ahead and add here is I am going to add a blank working space, so almost like a digital whiteboard. So I just added a new slide, and I'm going to take away the content. I'm just going to delete it. And so I literally looks like I have like a white expo board, except it's going to be digital for my kiddos. Something a little different. And you can see that that's added in right underneath my YouTube video. I think that's actually a good place for it, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I'm going to go back to my choice board here of my options. And the last one I'm going to do is a game-based activity. So we have 11 different templates for game-based activities, and these are super popular. And one I'm going to do today is a match 'em up. And this is where students have to make a one-to-one correspondence of 2 different topics. So I'm going to go ahead and click here. And we're going to do some simple terms and definitions. All right, Akea, you ready for your math terms?
All right, I'm ready. I got the simple, quick, mean, median, and mode. So
right.
I would say that your mean is your average or norm. Your median is your middle value. And your mode is your most frequent value.
Perfect. And we're going to keep this where it can check instantly, so the kiddos will have immediate feedback when they're actually completing the activity. And also notice that if I wanted to, and this is very powerful math, you can actually include snippets, so little pictures of representation, and that would be probably good for a box plot one as well. But for easy demo purposes, I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And you see a bunch of different templates here. This is kind of like a upper middle school lesson, early high school. So I'm going to go with the superheroes. They still rock with it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit finish. And you'll see that now my game has been added into my presentation. For our demo purposes today, I'm going to kind of stop there. We have the rest of our presentation that will go through how this now works on the student end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit finish editing. And what I'm going to have you guys now do is I'm going to have you join into my class live so you can see what it's going to look like from the student's perspective. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to select this little icon right here that looks like little people. And I am going to pop out my class ID. And this is similar to how you would be doing this also in a Google Meet, except you'd be in kind of my position as the teacher. And right now you guys are going to be acting as students. So if you can, please go ahead and open up an additional tab on your browser. Make sure you keep YouTube Live open. And you're going to go to hellosmart.com. You're going to join as a guest. And you're going to enter class ID 511688. That information is also being posted into the chat for you guys to easily copy and paste over if you need to as well. And then we'll wait for students to connect in. Yay, we're getting some kiddos in there. We'll wait for a few more to pop in. We know we are on a slight bit of a delay. Awesome.
So while we're waiting and while people are joining, there was a question, and I believe it was answered, but so you're showing us how we could do this live in a Google Meet. Mm-hmm. If you did do this as self-paced, how would teachers know that students have actually gone through it?
The only way that they would know that students would have gone through it is I would probably add in some sort of assessment or activity that ties along with what the lesson is. So using this in conjunction with maybe a Google Doc assignment or a form assignment that they're actually then responding back to. It's probably going to be the only way that they're going to know that they've actually gone through the lesson to hold them accountable.
Yep. And I think Caitlin also shared a great idea in the chat, which was you could have the kids take a screenshot as well that they completed an activity and upload that into Classroom or something like that too. So, you know, just some ideas for people if they don't want to do it live with everyone. So thank
I
you.
have an additional idea because this is a common question that's been asked recently. Also, you can use this lesson as a way for students to self-check so that the accountability is actually on the assignment. So if we're talking about math, maybe they complete a worksheet and they turn in that worksheet, but then they use the SLSO lesson to check their work.
Perfect. Great idea. Awesome. Okay, I'll let you guys go.
All right, we're going to go ahead and launch into our lesson. And what you will see on your screen, you'll be hearing me from YouTube Live, but you're going to be watching me if you're attending live, actually navigating through the lesson about box plots. So we have some activities here. We have a bell ringer you could do together. I can actually convert this so I can write on it, or I can write on it as a teacher. So I can start, you know, putting in my numbers. I can take this number, put it over, because this is my starting point. There you go. So as a teacher, I can write, I can erase, and I can move things around. And we got the bell ringer. We have an introduction for box plots. We're going to kind of navigate down to some of those items that we modified here. Okay, YouTube. So one of the things that we know on Google Meet is if you're trying to play them a YouTube video and they're trying to watch along live in a Google Meet, it's like all garbly. So the benefit of this is that you can actually have the YouTube video. You could be playing it. They could be playing it. And you guys can be playing it and I'm not listening to it right now. And I'm just going to give the appropriate amount of wait time. So if I know that this video is 3-4 minutes, I'm going to wait that amount of wait time before actually moving the kiddos on to the next slide.
I love that, Laura. And then I love that just the YouTube video is embedded. So you don't have to worry about your kids getting lost in YouTube land of, you know, finding additional videos. Once you change the slide, like in the earlier slides, the student slide would change after the appropriate amount of time has been given.
Awesome. So we're going to say, hey, everybody's had the chance to watch the video. Now we're going to launch into our next activity together. And that is our endless whiteboard. So on here, if you wanted to give more examples of your box and whisker plots, you know, it's pretty good. You know, I'm drawing with a mouse, guys. So
they do really well.
You know, all right, mess this one up. Okay. So I'm doing pretty good here, and I want to add in my numbers. You know, maybe this is 5, maybe my upper quartile is 45. And then I can give them some examples, okay? If I wanted to add more pages because I needed to annotate more times over top of it, I can just click on the plus sign here and I can add additional blank pages. So beyond math and showing annotation and solving problems, you can also add in highlighting passages. You could just have any sort of things that you guys would normally be writing on a whiteboard. You can be writing digitally on here, and now the kiddos get to see your face and the screen at the same time without having to, you know, look at the top of your head or have you turning back to the side trying to annotate on maybe a whiteboard you set up in your office space at home. So
the impromptu graphic organizer would probably do there on the blank page.
Oh yeah. We gotta, you know, there's my version of a Venn diagram. And now I can move it, make it a little bit nicer.
Nice.
So lots of ways to use the blank page as a whiteboard opportunity. Okay. And then the last piece that we had together was our game. So we have our match map activity. On your end, you can hit start. You can play your version of the game. On my end, I can hit start. Maybe I'm going to be modeling the students through the activity. Okay. So you've got your terms, you've got your definitions, and you need to match them up. You drag them to the superheroes' backs. If it's correct, it goes in. If it's incorrect, rah! And you have to try again.
I love the match them up. In our example, we used it for terms and definitions, but just to go further and what I gave as a possibility earlier for a way to have accountability. In the math example, where maybe you're using it where this is how they check their work, you could have the problem number, just number 1, and then the answer, and you can have those match up so that the students can match their work. So don't just think words and definitions. There's many ways that you can use these activities.
Awesome. Thanks, Akea. All right. And then you'd be going kind of through the rest of the lesson, completing it with the kiddos. Maybe you're annotating over top and doing the activity and you're plotting numbers. and so on and so forth through the end of the lesson. At the end of this lesson example, I actually do have other ideas of how you could be leveling up learning a little bit further using some of the other resources that we have in our lesson. So we'll make sure to have those in one of our future webinar opportunities as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end out of this lesson, guys. And you can stay open in your tab though, because I'm going to jet you over back into our presentation file. So easily just as that, I'm going to just reload where we were before. And we're going to talk about now, how do I use it with Google Meets and how do I use it with Google Classroom? And so we kind of demoed it how it would be done live if you were using Google Meets, just basically through our last example on the box plots. But essentially what you would be doing is you want to make sure that you have, before joining the Meet, you're going to have one browser tab open with Google Meet. You're going to have your other browser tab open with your SLSO lesson. And then you're going to join your Meet and you're going to hit Present Now. And Present Now is going to be able to showcase your screen onto their screen so they will be able to see what you're seeing. And then when you're in there, you can actually have the kids join into the class live like we did have for you guys today. And that's really if there's interactive content. If there's not interactive content, then you might want to just be able to have them come in to do a student-led lesson that you're going to be just posting into Google Classroom. Up to you. You really have both options available to you. Just a little note, so you guys know, hellosmart.com is a tile in the students' portal, so they have easy access to it as well. So that you can direct them to the portal or you can direct them to hellosmart.com. If students are saving work, or actually it's just as a good practice, you want to make sure that they're logging in to HelloSmart with their Palm Beach County school email address and password.
So Laura, students go to hellosmart.com or they go to their portal, but teachers should go through their Google Drive, correct?
Yes. So as a teacher, always remember, you're going through Drive, new, more, Smart Learning Suite Online. You're the creator, you're the master of the lesson, you're the one who's designing it. You're going through Drive. Anyone who's trying to access your lesson is going to go through HelloSmart. So from like the student perspective, from a participant perspective, HelloSmart, creator, Google Drive. Good question, Akea. All right. So this is if you're doing live lessons. Google Meet, Smart Learning Suite Online, you're launching it live with the kiddos. The other option, obviously, is that you're going to have a self-paced lesson that the students are going to be completing in Google Classroom. So for that, since you have the Google Drive integration, it's just like probably what you already experienced in the last week or so. Signing into your Google Classroom, and you're going to navigate to your classwork tab, and you can create and choose your assignment. And in those assignment options, you go to Google Drive. Because of the Google Drive integration, all of your Smart Learning Suite online files are also there, just like your docs, your sheets, and your slides. And all you have to do is select your activity, and then you're going to post it into the classroom. And then it'll appear just like any other assignment that you might have been assigning. You can also do this through your stream. I think most everybody's kind of figured out that though the classwork has been better for assignments where you definitely want to hold the students accountable for completing the work. All right. So our kind of challenge to you guys is to put this all into action. So we are encouraging you all to try to create a new lesson where you're going to import something from your Drive and add some interactivity, videos, blank pages, activities, or maybe exploring some of those options that we didn't get a chance to cover today, and then actually deliver that class lesson, whether it's in Google Meet or Classroom, and then share out with everybody. What are you doing? What are some cool ideas? How could other colleagues and teachers from around the county be able to use these ideas in their classroom as well? And as a resource, and we'll be posting this in the chat as well, you'll have all these resources to help you get started. So some additional online training options, some short little video clippets of what we covered today, the Distance Learning with Smart website that talks about the difference between leading live lessons versus leading student self-paced lessons in Smart Learning Suite Online, and also our Smart Exchange bucket, which has lesson opportunities where you can actually download and modify already pre-created lessons and activities. All right. So we're up to questions. Did we have any other questions come in?
Awesome. Thank you, guys. For those of you who are still in your tab with the Smart Learning Suite, you might want to hop over into YouTube if you have any questions. I know some of you may be staying into the Smart Learning Suite online page. So go across the top and find your YouTube tab where you're listening to us speak, and feel free to come and ask questions in the chat. There were a couple questions, like, for example, like how many people can join a lesson at one time?
54.
54, that's good to know. So especially high school level, middle school level, if you're doing a whole grade level or something like that, you won't be able to do all of them in one place. So keep those things in mind. That's important to know. Does what you wrote on the whiteboard actually save after you're finished?
Yes, it does. So
and where does that go?
Everything that you actually do in here, whether it's student work or your work, actually saves. Students, to make sure that their work is saving, they do have to log into Smart Learning Suite Online with their Palm Beach County email address and password. It just saves like any other Google Drive file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my Drive. And you can see that it says exploring blackspots.sls. So it basically just converts it into its own little Google type file. And you'll notice it by this little like orb looking ball. When I go back in and I launch the lesson again, it will bring me here and open with Smart Learning Suite. Everything that we did today is actually saved within that document. So even if it was my work or student work, it's all saved. So let's say, for example, maybe I wanted to take for a screenshot of those annotation whiteboard notes, or I just want to share that out with the kiddos. The kiddos have access and ability to be able to access this later as well. So if you were all done with the lesson, and make sure this makes sense, Akea. I was all done with this lesson. We did it live together. I want to post it for those kiddos who maybe couldn't attend live. I can go back here and I can actually share this exact file into my Google Classroom. And so students who weren't there, or maybe as a reminder for those who were there, can have access to all of my notes from that lesson as well. So it's all saved in here.
Awesome. There were some questions about the YouTube ad-free. So just so everyone knows, when she hit new, more Smart Learning Suite Online, YouTube is actually one of those choices in the Choose Your Own Adventure that automatically made it ad-free. It's just the way the service works on their end. It's able to bypass ads and things like that. It's also important to note, we have gotten this question almost 100,000 times already, but this is probably your best way if you would like to show a video live on a Meet. This is probably the only way where it will be a quality video where kids can hear, because as they mentioned, you can't just hit play on a video as a teacher and the kids hear it very well. It's just not designed for that. So this is a good way where kids would actually be able to watch that video without having the garbled up sound on their end. The only other answers we've been giving is to either front load it by having them watch it before you go live, or have them watch it after class. So this is a good way if there is something that needs to be done during the actual lesson. That's important. Let's go. There's some other questions. So you can do it. Can you do a monster quiz live?
You can. It is one of the most popular activities, Martha. And so you can do it live, and it has been one of the ones that we've had teachers reach out to a bunch in the last week. So Monster Quiz is found under game-based activities under the 11 templates. And you would just create that activity here, and I'll click on the preview for those of you who haven't seen it. It's kind of Kahoot-esque, but gives a little bit of a twist. It's a game-based activity where students are collaborating. This is one example of an activity that can only be done live, because you're pairing students into groups and you're hitting a go button. And so this can only be done live on Google Meet.
And it's also important to know we're not using Google Meet right now. Most people understand that right now. So there will not be a lag in Google Meet. When you hit go, the students will be able to see it immediately. There are some questions about how do we access instructions. So there was a link that was posted. Hillary posted a link to all the resources if you're printing things. And our website will also have some of this. We'll be building a page on SLSO on our website as well. Let's see. I did a search for Hello Smart in the portal.
Oh, you have to search just Smart. Just the word smart.
Just the word smart, S-M-A-R-T. And is that even in for teachers too?
It is not.
Okay, so that's the big thing.
Drive.
That's the important thing to remember. You're not going to see it in your own portal as a teacher. So the students search it, but the portal is designed based on your role. So we will not see things that students only need to see. So that's why it won't be there. Also, Hillary is mentioning, I couldn't grab the link, but hopefully it will be there soon. Hillary is mentioning the Google Plus community. I think EdTech and Smart have done a great thing by creating a Google Plus community just for our county, where you can share ideas, share lessons. That's in Google Plus. There you go. Mm-hmm. So on the screen you're seeing, there's the link to it. It's there. Thank you, Caitlin. But it's a community. You're already logged in when you're in your email, but all of your colleagues across the country, or across the county, sorry, county, not country, are able to ask questions. You can ask questions. You can share what you're doing in your classroom as well. All of that is available right there. And EdTech and Smart are also in there helping answer questions at all times too. And you will not see SLSO in the portal either. So remember, the way to get to SLSO is through Drive by going to New, More, Smart Learning Suite Online, or in the waffle in the top right corner and scrolling all the way down, and it'll be right there. Perfect. So again, if you have any other questions, please feel free to go ahead in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to hop on, if you don't mind, for just a second for our shameless plug time. So many people got here through our website, but we do love sharing our website with you because we continue to update it on a daily basis. So just as a reminder, our website is edtechtraining.palmbeachschools.org. It's a great resource. It has all of the topics that are coming up soon. So you're going to see on Wednesday, we're going to be going over Flipgrid and Adobe Spark, which are two amazing tools that you'll be able to use remotely. We're also doing Google Forms and Sheets, Google Slides, and Advanced Google Docs on Friday. And this afternoon, we're also doing a Google Docs 101. So one of the things that you guys asked for in our survey was a deeper dive into Google Docs. So what we're doing is doing an intro to Google Docs this afternoon and a deep dive on Friday. So we hope you'll join us for those. And then in the top right corner, under live stream resources, you'll see, as I explain each training, this gets a little bit longer. As each webinar, we're trying to do a new page of all of that content. A lot of it's still under construction, but we're trying to get the video and the slide deck up to you guys as soon as possible, and then add more integration ideas after that. So with that, are there any other questions in the chat? Let's see. Where is Google Plus? That was another one. Google Plus, as Laura was showing you, is up in that waffle in the top right corner. You're going to click it, and Google Plus is in there somewhere, depending on how yours is sorted. It's up there. Just click that, or the link that was shared in the chat will take you directly. Hillary shared that in the chat. It will take you directly to this one where you can join it. Apparently there is a tile for teachers in the portal, which I had no idea. So I'm not sure which one's there, but it is there. I guess maybe it's SLSO is there, but we do recommend that you go through that way.
If a teacher does go through the tile in the portal, what's going to happen is you're going to lose the Google Drive integration. So it won't connect into your slides, docs, and sheets. That's
important to note then. So we highly are not recommending going that route then.
No.
Just go straight through Drive. That's the best idea. Susan, Flipgrid will be on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. This time slot on Wednesday. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys have a contact that you want to put back up or something?
Yeah, I will.
They'll put the contact slide back up with all of their information. We have lots of different stuff going on in the future. Please continue to join us as often as you can. We love having you. You have a whole amazing wealth of resources in these videos down at the bottom. Please feel free to watch these videos, share these videos, and more importantly, just start sharing our website with your friend. We would love to have you guys bring your colleagues in next time and have even more people to share with. Otherwise, Laura and Akea are here on screen, and you also had the people in the chat from Smart 2. We thank them so much as well. Please feel free to reach out to any of them. Most of you have seen them at this point. You know of them if you've had your smart boards delivered. So if you already have a preferred contact, please keep that relationship going as well. Otherwise, Laura and Akea, if you want to say anything before we send off.
No,
I just want to make sure everyone knows that they can reach out to us if they need anything.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, and have a great week too.